Hey friends, welcome back. Today we are on chapters 4 and 5 of Galaxy Zack. Our focus today is going to be on something that's kind of fun. As a person who loves stories and has a great imagination, I love the fact that this is something that we're supposed to learn. It's called visualization. Visualization kind of happens automatically, I think, when we are reading stories. It's what you picture in your head, like a little movie of what's happening in a story. And so that's why as you get older and you get into chapter books, it becomes less necessary for the author or the illustrators to include pictures because they know that your imagination just turns on when you start reading those stories. And oftentimes what you see in the story in your head is better than anything that you could ever imagine on the page, any picture that they could draw. But to get specific about the anchor chart here, when we visualize, we make a picture in our mind based on what we read or are told. And so the example I have is, it was a beautiful day at the beach, and so this person right here is imagining what it's like to have a beautiful day at the beach. And we've talked a little bit about schema and background knowledge, and the background knowledge helps us to understand what it is that we're reading and what we should be seeing. And so when we think about school, we think about going and sitting in a classroom, and there's a teacher and there's a bunch of kids, and we spend about 6.5 hours there. But has your schema for school changed over the last couple weeks? I bet you it has, because all of a sudden school became something that we do at home. And so what you visualize for what we do for school has probably changed in the last couple weeks, because now you know that school can happen on Zoom, school can happen on YouTube, school happens at your kitchen table, school happens with your mom and dad, school happens when you bake cookies. So school can happen all kinds of different ways. So today we're going to read chapters 4 and 5 of Galaxy Zack, which is a great thing to visualize because he's from a whole different world, or he's moving to a whole different world. And then at the end, you're going to have a chance to draw something that you're going to visualize from the story. So you're going to use two skills. One of them is going to be inferring, and one of them is going to be visualizing. And actually you're using schema and all that kind of stuff too. Oh, I didn't do my hair this morning. I took a shower last night and it's super fluffy now, and it's like blowing all over my face. So I apologize in advance for how often I'm going to have to just be like rubbing it out of my face. And I also have a neighbor who's being a little bit noisy today. I can hear him having really loud conversations, so just ignore him. I don't know what's going on with that dude. So anyway, so it's Galaxy Zack. And so right now you're going to be visualizing. There are some pictures in the story, but you can visualize something different. There's nothing wrong with how you will visualize. And then, like I said, at the end, we're going to be visualizing something ourselves. Chapter 4, What a House. The Nilssons' car flew through the air above Nebulon. 122 Zoid view directly below, said the car. It slowed down as it approached a large house. The house was shiny and white. The car glided softly into a big, rounded garage. It parked next to a smaller red car. Destination reached, announced the car. Then the engine shut off. Well, Nilssons, we're home, Dad announced. Who wants a tour? Me, said Charlotte. And me, Kathy agreed. Zack? Dad asked. Sure, I guess, Zack said, shrugging. Oh, I think you're really going to like this place, Zack, Dad said. First stop, the kitchen. Dad walked over to a round door in the garage. He went into a tiny room. That's the kitchen? Asked Zack. Nope, this is the elevator. Come on in, everyone. The whole family stepped into the elevator. The door closed with a whoosh. The elevator took off, going sideways. The elevator connects all the sections of the house, explained Dad. It travels through tubes. It goes up, down, forward, and backward. The elevator glided to a stop, and the door slid open. Mom stepped into the huge kitchen. Wow, she said. Welcome home, Mr. Nilsson, said a voice that seemed to be coming from every corner of the room. How you doing, Ira? Dad replied. Ira? Mom asked. Who's Ira? Where's Ira? Asked the twins. What's Ira? Asked Zack. IRA is short for Indoor Robotic Assistant, Dad explained. He's a computer, but he's so much more. Ira is a part of the electrical, mechanical, computer, and communication systems of every room in the house. Hi, Ira, said Zack, giggling a bit. I'm talking to the house, he thought. Welcome home, Master Zack, Ira replied. And the house is talking to me! You don't have to call me Master Zack, said Zack. Just Zack is fine. Excuse me. Very well, Master Just Zack, Ira said. The whole family chuckled. And welcome to you too, Mrs. Nilsson, Miss Charlotte, Miss Kathy. Ooh, I like being called Miss, said the twins. So who's thirsty after the long journey? Dad asked. Can I have some orange juice? Asked Zack. Just plain old orange juice? Dad smiled, and his eyes opened wide. How about a jazzy Nebulon juice? Sure, I guess, Zack said. Ira, can we please have a Spudsy Melonade? Said Dad. Certainly, Mr. Nilsson, Ira said. A small panel in the wall slid open. So you're getting to some clues as to what the author and illustrator intended in this, but I hope your imagination is opening up and you're picturing even more. So they showed this, but I was imagining the wall opening up and having this little panel. It's like, out popped a metal arm. Out popped a metal arm holding a glass of frosty, bubbling juice. Here's your Spudsy lemonade, Master Just Zack, said Ira. Zack looked at the glass with wide eyes. Thanks, Ira, he said. Then Zack took it and gulped down the cool drink. Sweet! Spudsy Melonade rules! Maybe this place won't be so bad after all, he thought. So visualization can also go to the way you think something might taste. So if you think of what Spudsy Melonade might taste like, I think of something that's a little bit like lemonade with like Jolly Rancher watermelon flavor, and it's bubbly. I think that sounds pretty good. So my brain went not just to what I could see, but also what I could taste. And you probably noticed that I was doing a little bit of a robot voice for some of those robots, and that's because my visualization went to what I hear as well. And so my imagination makes that whole movie happen in my head, and I'm sharing just a little bit of it with you, the listener, as I'm reading this to you. So do you think it might also go to how something feels or how something smells? The answer is yes. So all our five senses come into that visualization. We call it visualization as though it might be everything we see, but that's just because our eyes take in a lot of information that tell us about our world. And so we're calling it that because we rely on that mostly. Everything else kind of becomes almost secondary, because if you were like, oh, that looks scary and it smells delicious, you're probably going to really rely on your visual identifications of what makes it look scary more than something smelling good that looks scary or unsafe. Okay, chapter 5, Wired. So there they are. They're back in that elevator going again, zipping around. Why don't you kids check out your new bedrooms before dinner, said Dad. Zack and the twins stepped into the elevator. The door closed behind them and the elevator took off. A moment later, the elevator slowed to a stop. The door slid open. Zack stared into a large bedroom. It was covered in pink. Frilly curtains hung from the windows. All right, let's infer. Whose bedroom is this? Is this the bedroom for Zack or his twin sisters? Pink and frilly. Most likely his twin sisters. Not every girl loves pink frilly stuff, and not every boy doesn't like pink frilly stuff, but most people, when we think of what a girl's bedroom would be like, would probably be more the pink one. Zack shuddered. Ugh, this is your stop, he said to his sisters. But I have to say, I've known lots of boys who like pink, and they would probably love that room. Ooh, Phew, said Kathy and Charlotte, running into the room. The door zipped shut, and the elevator sped off. A couple of seconds later, it stopped again, and the door opened again. Now this is my room, said Zack, smiling. He stepped into the bedroom. The walls were green. So were the carpet and the curtains. Most things in the room were green. Green was Zack's favorite color. Zack spotted a huge desk. A computer touchpad was built into the desktop. The entire wall in front of it was a giant view screen. That's awfully big for a computer monitor, Zack said. He touched the screen. Suddenly, he was looking at a "Hello, Zack" message, then zillions of stars in space. Wow, this is so cool, he said. I can see the entire galaxy. Zack searched the stars and planets around Nebulon for a few minutes, and then he looked around the room. Hey, Zack said, where's my bed? Are you ready for bed, Master Just Zack? Ira asked. Zack jumped at the sound of his voice. Are you in here too? Zack asked. I am wired throughout the house, Ira explained. Here is your bed. A panel in the ceiling opened and a bed came down from above. The bed had a pillow with a matching green pillowcase and a blanket. Cool, said Zack. Thanks, Ira, but it's too early for bed. Look at that. He has a round bed. Very well, Ira said. The bed went back into the ceiling. You mean I don't have to make my bed every morning? Asked Zack. Sweet. Zack, honey, called Mom through the commu link. Dinner time. Zack scooted into the elevator and rode to the dining room. He took a seat at the table that floated in mid-air. Charlotte and Kathy sat across from him. Mom and Dad sat on either side. So, Mom, what's for dinner? Zack asked. Are we going out? So there's nothing on the table. He's like, what are we eating? I want something. No need, said Dad. A big cheery smile spread across his face. He turned to the twins. Girls, what would you like for dinner? Spaghetti, they both shouted. You got it. Zack, I want a pepperoni pizza, Zack replied. No problem, said Dad. Your mother and I will have grilled salmon with baked potatoes. Hey, isn't salmon Nevaeh's favorite thing to eat? Where are we going to get all that? Zack asked. Right here, Ira. 2 spaghetti dinners, 1 pepperoni pizza, and 2 plates of grilled salmon with baked potatoes. Right away, Mr. Nelson, said Ira. Ira cooks too? Zack wondered aloud. A panel in the ceiling slid open. 5 plates of steaming hot food floated down and landed on the table. Zack pulled a slice of pizza from the pie. Do you know that pizza's called pie? I always think that's kind of interesting. It had crispy, star-shaped pepperoni slices that floated on top of the gooey cheese. As Zack took his first bite, he suddenly realized how hungry he was. Wow, Zack said. This pizza is great. It tastes just like the pizza at Tip Top Pizza back on Earth. You know, I think living on Nebulon might not be that bad after all. I'm so glad, honey, Mom said. After dinner, we can make sure that you and your sisters are all ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow? Zack asked through a mouthful of pizza. Yes, we've registered you at Sprocket's Academy, Mom explained. Tomorrow, you start school on Nebulon. School? Thought Zack. He stopped chewing his pizza. Zack remembered his nightmare about school and his monster classmates and 2-headed snake teacher. I forgot all about school. The end. So chapter 6 is called Ready, Set, School. So that we will not read until next Friday, though. So your job today, and of course I want you to send me a picture of this. Your job today is to draw what you think Zack's school will look like. So you can draw the outside of the school, or you can draw the inside of the school. You can draw whatever you want for what you think the school's going to be like. So we're using 2 skills to do this, or actually 3. We're using schema, what you know about school. You're using inferences based on what's happened in Galaxy Zack so far. And you're using visualization. We're going to put those 2 things together, and you're going to make some guesses about what the school will look like. So I think that the school, like if this was the school and you walked in and you were looking in, I think that there's going to be a huge screen, because that's what his room had. So I think there's going to be a huge screen like that, and they'll say, "Welcome, students." I think that there's going to be desks in the room. So those are going to be my desks. I think that there is going to be a teacher that like floats on a chair. So this will be the chair, and here's the teacher. And I don't know if the teacher's going to be what they're going to look like. If they're going to be like that. I'm going to make her a girl, and she has long hair that just kind of floats straight up in the air. I think that because Nebulon has Earthlings and Nebulites, I think that they might have creatures from other planets too that also live there. So I think that there's going to be like different kinds of alien students. So I'm going to draw a couple of odd-looking creatures. So I guess this is like the kid from Planet Blockula. This is the kid from Planet Globula. I think that there's going to be like a typical alien that has the big eyes, small mouth, antennae, like that. So I think that there's going to be a variety of what the students look like. What else do I think? I think that the books, just like in the story in his bedroom, you know how the bed came down from the ceilings? I think that any books or materials will just kind of be up in the ceiling and will come down. Like, here's your pencil. Boop. Here's your book. Ooh, I wonder if they'll even have books, or if it'll be so spacey that they won't need books. I wonder what's going to happen there. Ooh, I also wonder, what will the playground look like? So you get the idea. So this is just the basic drawing that I drew, and I hope that you can include more details about what you think the school will look like. Well, my friends, it was nice to spend this morning chatting with you and reading to you this morning. It was nice to visualize with you. We didn't get any birdie visits today, and Freddie stayed out of the picture, but that's okay. And I will see you soon. On Monday, we're going to work on our Love That Dog chapter book that we've been working on. We'll get back to that. And next Friday, we'll be reading more from Galaxy Zack. So until then, mwah, I love you, and I can't wait to see the pictures that your parents send me of your school that you drew. Bye, guys.